Good day, good people. My name is Kabo Sekoele and I'm an online math tutor here to help young children turn their struggles into their successes. In today's video, we are going to be talking about fractions. This is a very crucial area in math, especially in the developmental stages. So I'm going to be showing you how you can help your child understand fractions in a clear and simple and fun manner. Personally, I like using pictures and illustrations because they help children to see math and to make sense of math, especially in terms of fractions. So in this video, I'm going to show you what type of illustrations and pictures work for the different types of fraction problems that your child is going to have to solve. So let's get into it. At this stage in mathematics, your child will have to face two types of fraction problems. The first is what I like to call the part to whole fraction problems. Here's a simple example to illustrate what a part to whole fraction problem is. If someone said to you, I ate 3 slices of pizza out of a total of 8 slices of pizza, the fraction would then have a numerator of 3 and a denominator of 8. Now, this is a part to whole fraction because the part, which in this case is the slices of pizza that have been eaten, comes from the whole, which is the total number of slices. Simply put, you took the part from the whole, which is what makes it a part to whole fraction problem. More examples of part to whole fractions are, I had $24 and I spent a quarter of the money. How much money do I have left? This is a part to whole fraction problem because the money that was spent was taken from the total amount of money. Thus, this is a part to whole fraction. So if your child is unable to make sense of these kinds of fractions, a very good illustration that works is the pizza illustration. You can simply liken the money, which is $24, to a pizza that has been cut into 24 slices. The money spent was taken from the whole. Obviously, then the remaining number of slices would be likened to the remaining amount of money that was not spent. Another example that works is, out of 24 hours, I spent a third of my day sleeping and 2/3 of my day awake. How many hours am I asleep for? Again, the pizza illustration works very well. Why? Because the parts of the pizza or the slices of the pizza can be likened to the parts of the day. The point is, the pizza illustration can be used across the board, and it helps them to make sense of parts being taken from a whole and parts remaining, which is ultimately the essence of a fraction. Now let's talk about the second type of fraction that your child will encounter at this stage in math. This is what I like to call the whole to part fraction problem. I don't know if you can tell, but I made these names up. These fraction problems are pretty much the reverse of the fraction types that we discussed previously. Again, I'm going to share an illustration that helps us to understand what whole to part fractions are. I drove for 2 hours and used 10 liters of petrol. Now, in this sentence, none of the values are taken from one another. There were no parts that were taken from the wholes. In fact, both these values are separate wholes, not parts of a whole. Therefore, something like the pizza illustration will not necessarily work because which value would represent the whole and which one would represent the part. Another example of a whole to part fraction. My mother baked 25 cookies and she shared them equally amongst her 5 kids. How many cookies did each child get? Now, as you can see, these two values are not related. 5 children, 25 cookies. They're in no way a part to whole problem, but they do make up a whole to part problem. The last example, I want to put 5 traffic cones on a street that is 10 meters long. What distance will there be between each cone? Again, it's a whole to part problem because these two values are not related to one another. They do not come from one another. Now, even though these numbers are not related to one another, fractions can be used to find the answers to these questions. To help your child with this type of fraction problem, the goal is to figure out how many times the one value goes into the other value. For example, in the case of the cookie question, if you find out how many 5s go into a 25, the answer you get will tell you how many cookies each child will get because you took 25 and you broke it up into 5 parts. If your child follows this principle in all types of whole to part fraction problems, it will be easier for them to make sense of it. So what you can do is to help your child visualize this kind of situation using anything that can be split into smaller but equal groups. You can take a bunch of sweets, you can take a group of balls, you can take just anything that can be split easily. Personally, I use the sweets illustration because kids like sweets and they can relate to a large group of sweets being separated into smaller but equal groups. So typically that works very well for me, but you can be creative. As long as you follow the principles of these two types of fractions, you can do whatever works. You can be as creative as you'd like. Parents, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that helped. If you are in search of someone to help your child with mathematics and to help them understand mathematics, please feel free to go down to my website and schedule a free consultation with me. I will leave the link down in the description, and I cannot wait to meet you. If you would like the presentation that was featured in this video, again, you can go down to the description and find the link to download it for free. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.